presents the Boys State Basketball Tournament. Brought to you by Graham Tire, Tony and Luigi's, the Donut Stop, the Lincoln Orthopedic Center, World Motorworks, and the Lincoln Racket Club. Now, for live basketball action, we go courtside, and KLIN's Jim Miller and Steve Roth.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, will state tournament history repeat itself? Or will the Pius High Thunderbolts add to their trophy case their second state tournament championship? Or will they have to settle for their third straight runner-up trophy? Yes, tonight it's a rematch of last year's Class B state championship game as KLIN Sports presents Pius against Wahoo. Two teams with a combined record this year of 48-0, including 37 straight for Wahoo, the longest winning streak in the state. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Miller and Steve Roth for KLIN Sports. And Steve, I guess my opening question is, did we have the Class B state championship game yesterday when Pius beat Ord 69-66, or do we really have the two best teams in Class B here tonight?
Tell you what, ask the people from Wahoo, ask the people from Lincoln Pius, they'll tell you it's tonight. However, that game last night will be hard to top, the one with Ord, and you've got to wonder the emotional state of Pius right now. I mean, it was such a tremendous win and tremendous game. Can they rise to that level again? Wahoo, on the other hand, they're unbeaten, but they don't have quite the pressure Pius does simply because a lot of people didn't expect it from them. Pius, it was expected of them. For Wahoo, they're the defending state champions, but they lost 4 of the 5 starters. So here we are with a bunch of young kids that have just gone beyond everybody's expectations, and they're a little, might come in a little freer in opener. But the last night, Jim, you looked me square in the eyes and says, gut feeling on that game with Ord. And what I said was, I'll say one thing about the Pius kids this year. When it comes to crunch time, when it comes to that tight moment, that moment of decision, they have risen to the occasion every single step of the way. I think they can do it one more time.
Of course, this is the one that counts tonight. Well, Wahoo's had a couple of fairly easy games. They walloped Ogallala 76-40 in the opener and then took care of Syracuse yesterday 60-43. Even though Pius beat Schuyler by 9 in their opener, they were extended into the fourth quarter in that one. And, of course, they were extended right down to the buzzer yesterday against Marty Dubas and the Ord Chanticleers as Pius wins that one 69-66. More of our pregame show from the Bob Devaney Sports Center here on KLIN in 60 seconds.
After
both are undefeated, and we've been asking around trying to find out the last time two teams were undefeated in Class B, and nobody can recall. We talked a little bit in our pregame so far about the fact that Pius being unbeaten and everything, about the pressures. And so I asked Coach Tom Seib yesterday what it has been like this season with the pressures of being unbeaten. Back at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, where we're getting ready for this Class B championship game between Wahoo and Pius. Mick Anderson, the head coach of the Wahoo Warriors. Pius, coached by Tom Seib. And Jim, I don't think there's any secret that both teams were hoping for this. There has definitely been a rivalry that has developed here. Last year, a great ball game, which Wahoo won by just 2 points, 50-48. And I think that everybody knows that these two teams really like to get after each other.
Well, I tell you what, it was interesting in talking with Wahoo coach Mick Anderson before the game, because I couldn't believe the relaxed atmosphere in the Wahoo locker room. And you hit upon it, Steve, in the fact that Wahoo wasn't expected to be here. Mick says, yeah, I thought we'd have a good team. But he says we had a lot of kids that we didn't get a chance to play a lot last year because we had so many seniors. And he says they've come along. He said our bench has developed, and that's been the big difference since the start of the year to now, is they've now got some kids that will come off the bench. But something that surprised me, and he says, I think Pius's bench is stronger. Now, Pius doesn't go more than 6 or at most 7 people deep, and they haven't in the 2 games. So if that was a true statement from Mick, it did kind of surprise me. But, of course, I'm hoping that tonight we can bring the same luck for Tom Seib that we were able to bring him back in 1974 for Don Kelly when they won it down at the old Coliseum, beating Lexington on a final second shot by Artie Axelman. But I tell you, it's your hearts kind of have to go out for Pius because this same bunch of kids basically has finished runner-up in the state the last 2 years. And, of course, to to do it 3 times in a row, I don't care what anybody says, and Tom Seib will say it's just an honor to get that far, and it is, but to go away 3 straight years without the big piece of hardware has got to be a real disappointment. We'll continue with our pregame show from the Bob Devaney Sports Center here on KLIN in 60 seconds.
Well, another big crowd on hand, and we could break the all-time attendance record in the boys' state basketball tournament. As you may have heard here on KLIN earlier in the week, I talked to Condi Sargent, and he says they were just hoping to top last year's about 75,000. Well, they did that already yesterday. They hit 80,000, and the record is somewhere above 90,000. So if they bring in more than 10,000 or so today, they need about 12,000, I think, to top it, and they're going to be awfully close to it with all the sessions today.
Steve, for the people that weren't listening to us last night, it was an unbelievable sight here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. It's the biggest crowd I've ever seen here for a Nebraska game or whatever. They were standing up in the upper rafters, clear up in the nosebleed section. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people outside who couldn't get in here, and it was just an unbelievable sight. But I hope it's a sight of the future to come for boys and girls state basketball tournaments here in Lincoln.
Well, as we told you, we did get a chance to talk to Tom Seib last night after the ball game, and I asked him what the season this year has been like.
The expectations and the pressure are what's been hard this year. Last couple of years, it's been, well, we might do it and we might not. And this year, the expectations were so high, and you put a lot of that on yourself. And even though they don't want to admit it, they've felt it at times. And I think that's what's the big difference this year is just that pressure and the expectations that people expected us to do this. And it isn't that easy with the kind of schedule we play. That's the 12th top 10 team we've played this year. They've been top 10 at different times during the year. And you don't play a schedule like that and blow people out night after night. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on you and a lot of expectations on you yourself. And that's hard for kids this age to overcome that night after night after night.
We're about 3 minutes away from the start of the Class B championship game. And to be very candid, there have not been any real close games today. I think the closest championship game today has been 6 or 7 points. You want to run that down, Steve?
Well, in Class D2, the champion is Hampton. Hampton had to come from behind to beat Hildreth 49-43. In Class D1, the winner was Fall City Sacred Heart. I forgot to get the final, but it was quite a margin. They won by quite a few, but Fall City Sacred Heart winning big over Maxwell. In Class C2, it was Grant, a winner over Surprising Deschler, 61-41. And in Class C1, Sutton defeated Sandy Creek 71-62. The third meeting between the two, and the first time Sutton won. And when the whole tournament began, I had those two picked to be in the finals, and I had Sutton picked because, as you know, it's tough to beat a team a third time, and that was proof of it there, Sutton winning it over Sandy Creek. And, of course, Pius and Wahoo waiting on the wings. And then tonight, the championship match, Columbus and Millard South. Columbus trying to win their first title since 1972. Millard South trying to become the first Class A team since 1960 to go unbeaten as a state champion.
Well, I want to certainly thank Mick Anderson and his assistants, Mark Walton and Harry Koshiski, for taking time. They were very gracious in their locker room. Sometimes coaches are very nervous and very hesitant to talk, but they were very, very nice, and a nice bunch of coaches, as with Pius and Tom Seib, and also to Ray and Russ for all the help they've given us throughout the year. And I tell you what, I've got to nominate the Wahoo fans for a sportsmanship trophy here, because Tom Seib presented Steve and I with Pius T-shirts to wear throughout the tournament. Of course, we can do that in state tournament time because we can be a little biased. But I walked through the entire Wahoo student body and crowd to get up here tonight with this Pius T-shirt on. And they were very, very gracious and they're very delightful people. So I hope that's an indication of the sportsmanship that we're about to see on the floor here. The non-starters for the Pius High Thunderbolts. Under third-year coach Tom Seib, they're 23-0. Number 1 ranked all year. In fact, we've got the 1 and 2 teams. The non-starters are Jeff Nichols, who played such a key role yesterday. Chris Kodad, Ted Campbell, Bill Ryan, John Majerus, Dave Madison, and Joe Hendricks. The starters at one guard, John the Leprechaun Boudreau. And if you haven't been with us, the reason we've nicknamed John that, he wears those green shoes. He's a 6-foot senior. He's averaged 12 a game on the year, and he's had 26 points so far in the tournament. His running mate will be Lee Hunsicker, a 6'3 senior. Averages just under 5 a game, and he's averaged about that in the tournament. 10 points in 2 games. The guy who's really been the scoring threat of the second top scorer in Class B so far in the tournament is 6'3" senior Easy Ed Easley. Ed averaged 14 a game on the regular season. He's got 37 in the 2 games in the tournament. Tom Burt, the 6'6" sophomore, averages just over 12.5 a game, and he's poured in 27 in the tournament. This game will feature a couple of the super sophomores in Burt and Jason Glock. And the other member of the Pius starting lineup, 6'4" senior Kelly Hendricks. Kelly averages over 14.5 a game. He scored 23 in the tournament. And, of course, Kelly nominated along with Aaron Grease to the McDonald's All-American basketball team. The Wahoo Warriors under Mick Anderson are 25-0. They've won 37 straight. And their starters are Rob Brigham, a 5'11" senior. He averages 3 a game, and he scored just 2 so far in the tournament. The young man that runs the team, there's no 2 ways about it, is Troy Glock, 6'2" senior. He averages 15 a game. He's got 25 points in the tournament. The hard worker, the overachiever on the team, is Cliff Kriesel, a 5'11" senior. He averages 5 a game, and that's just what he's averaged in the tournament. He's got 10 points in 2 games. Their leading scorer is 6'3" sophomore Jason Glock. He averages 21 points a game on the regular season. He's got 35 points in the tournament. He's also their leading rebounder as well as their leading scorer. And at center will be Randy Hoffman, a 6'5" junior. He averages 15 a game, and he's got 31 points in the tournament, so he's right on his average.
Jim, I'd like to know who decides what the pregame hoopla is going to be as far as all the little gestures to do. So far in the tournament, Pius has always gone high 5, low 5, high 5, low 5. Tonight they came out, they go down one end of the line, go low 5, low 5, low 5, then come run down the other end, high 5, high 5, high 5. But, you know, obviously somebody had to sit and think that up.
Well, I would imagine Boudreau is probably their choreographer here tonight. John, a very happy-go-lucky young man.
Nice article in the Lincoln Star this morning by Mike Babcock that talked about some of the neat things in the tournament. It was just kind of a menagerie of things, and one of the things he mentioned was the fact that John Boudreau obviously loves to play the game. Well, we're getting ready for this Class B state championship title. Will Pius get number 2? We're about to find out. Here to call the play-by-play action on KLIN, Jim Miller.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. It's goosebump time, and if you don't have goosebumps, man, you shouldn't be here. Here's the opening tip between Burt and Hoffman, and it goes to the Wahoo Warriors. With the basketball is Troy Glock. Tries to penetrate, can't. Kicks it back or brings it back outside. Picking him up will be Lee Hunsicker. Inside it goes to his brother Jason. They reverse it around the right side inside to Kriesel. His lob pass inside picked off by Easy Ed Easley. So right off the bat, Wahoo turns it over, and they'll play zone all night long. So Pius is going to have to shoot well. Hunsicker down low. Easley penetrates up and in. Ed Easley.
We saw that about 4 times last night, Jim. They're going to the same thing. The bullet pass inside. Easley uses the glass beautifully.
Nice assist from Hunsicker as Easley got free down low and muscled his way up and in. Kriesel kicks it up top to Brigham. Troy Glock, the left-hander, puts it up. His three-pointer is short. Rebound, John the Leprechaun Boudreau. And here comes Johnny.
One thing we're seeing, Jim, they're coming out with that intensity, that look in their eyes. Great defense right off the bat, and that's what they got to have.
Again, Hunsicker penetrates, kicks it off to Burt. Out front, three-point shot. Boudreau, no. Rolls around. Rebound, Burt. Put back, no good. Rebound is to Easy Ed Easley, and Easley's got it back in. Easy Ed Easley with the first 4 of the game. Wahoo across the timeline. Troy Glock comes from left side, kicks it in the middle. Huffman's open. Short shot, rolls around and drops in. Randy Hoffman, the 6'5 junior, has the first 2 for the Warriors. Full court pressure, almost stolen away by Troy Glock in the backcourt. Boudreau penetrates to Burt. 15-footer. No, won't go. Rebound, Hendricks. Hendricks muscles his way back up. His short jump shot is short off the front of the iron, and Hoffman comes up with a rebound.
Letting them play a little bit, Jim. That's what we like to see. A little bit of contact under there, but most of it incidental contact.
I believe these 2 officials are out of Omaha. I believe it's Morrissey and Marty Going are the officials tonight. 4-2 Pius. We're 2 minutes into the first quarter. Kriesel handles right side into the lane. Short jump shot. Won't go. Pius boxes out. Rebound, Kelly Hendricks, and he drops it off for Boudreau.
Great job on the boards right now by Pius. Really positioning themselves well, knowing they have to rebound.
Boudreau off to Hunziker. Hunziker again penetrates, kicks it down low to Easley. Easley up and in, 6 points, and Easley. That's where Pius has won their first 2 games, is down low, and that's where they have to. They're only 1 out of 10 from three-point range. They do not have the long-range threat that they had in Ed Long last year.
I think they're worried about Burt. They're sagging off Easley a little bit.
Wahoo works it around the perimeter against the 2-3 zone. Both teams zoning right now. Jason Glock off to Kriesel, over the top to Troy Glock. Glock dribbles, kicks it out front to Kriesel. In the right-hand corner to Brigham, down low to Hoffman. Hoffman off the glass. It's good and he's fouled. So only 2 players have scored so far. Ed Easley has 6 for Pius. Hoffman has 4, going for 5 for Wahoo. So Wahoo returns the favor as they jam it down low to Hoffman. He gets it in, and Easley hammers him underneath. Hoffman is just a junior, and he makes it. I'll tell you, if it gets down to the free throw line, at least compared to what's happened so far, Tom Side's got to be happy there. His team's 30 out of 37, and Wahoo is 15 out of 34 from the free throw line in the tournament so far. Hunziker, pass over the top, stolen away by Kriesel, or he deflected it to Glock.
I think we may see Wahoo keep going inside. I think Mick Anderson realized that Pius doesn't have a lot of depth, would like to get some guys in foul trouble.
Troy Glock off to Brigham. Back to Glock on the right wing. Cross-court pass to Kriesel. They're looking inside. Troy Glock. Bounce pass inside to brother Jason. Turnaround 10-footer won't go. Rebound Lee Hunziker. Drops it off for Boudreau. 6-5 Pius leads. We're about halfway through the first quarter. Jim Miller and Steve Rhodes for KLIN Sports. Kelly Hendricks. Skip pass over the top to Burt. Back out it comes to Hunziker against the 1-3-1 zone. To Boudreau. Right corner to Hendricks. Down low to Easley. Easley turnaround shot short. No good. You can see that was short all the way. And Pius coming up short on their 5 to 10-foot jumpers inside.
Force that one a little bit. They need to be a little more patient on offense.
Troy Glock runs the offense, gets it off to Kriesel. Off to Jason Glock. Yes, they are brothers. One's a senior, one's a sophomore. The sophomore is the leading scorer and rebounder. Kriesel. Pius has switched out man-to-man now. Glock handles right-hand corner. They reverse it around, try and get it inside. It's deflected by Boudreau, picked up by Easley, but we've got a collision in the backcourt. And after Boudreau's steal, Brigham tried to steal it back and picks up a foul.
That'll be Pius' ball on side court, and we're going to have a timeout.
There's a timeout with 3:34 left to go in the first quarter. It's Pius 6, Wahoo 5. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
You're having
3:34 left to go in the first quarter. 6-5 Pius. At halftime, we hope to have longtime official Rudy Storon. Rudy officiated his final game in that Maxwell Fall City Sacred Heart matchup just before this one. So Steve will be talking to Rudy at halftime. Pius against the zone, and Wahoo will mix them up. Boudreau trying to penetrate. Left-hand corner to Hendricks, looking inside. Skip pass over the top to Burt. Burt drives, 12-footer. It's going to be long, no good. Rebound Brigham, and here come the Warriors. Now he slows it up as he brings it up court and drops it off for Troy Glock. We've played 5 minutes of the first quarter, and it's 6-5 Pius. Kriesel, right wing. Up top it comes to Troy Glock. Gets the screen. Fakes the shot, nothing going. Back to Kriesel. They're not worried about Kriesel shooting from further out than 15, but there's a three-point shot by Troy Glock. It won't go. Boudreau with the rebound. So Boudreau with 2 or 3 rebounds already. And the reason being is Brigham is posting up down low. On the other end, Pius handles the basketball. Hunziker back to Burt. They just play catch, penetrate, kick it down low. Easley gets the basketball right in front of the hoop, but then there's a pushing foul before he gets his shot off.
Jim, I just noticed something. We've talked about Hunziker being so good with his court vision. I realized why. Before he begins his dribble, he looks and sees where everybody's at. Then he dribbles, and he knows where they're going to be, so he knows right where to pass it. He really does a great job of thinking before he does something.
Second foul on Brigham. Well, they need that penetration, and that's where Easley's gotten his 6 points so far. There's the three-point shot by Boudreau. Front, off the, short off the front of the iron. And Wahoo's got the rebound. So for both teams, it's basically one shot and out. 6-5 Pius. In there now is Bernie Inbody. He's a three-point threat. Inbody handles right-hand corner. Pass out front, deflected by Boudreau, but over and back now is called. Boudreau caused that. His block ended up in the backboard on that deflection, and that's what Mick Anderson's hollering about. He thought it was touched before it went in the backboard.
Boudreau is really pumped for this game. He is playing great defense.
Well, the one comment they had for you in the locker room yesterday after the game was that the pressure's off now they're here. Boudreau penetrates, shot up and good. Hanging, running jump shot by Johnny Boudreau. 8-5, Bulls. A minute 45 remaining. Glock penetrates, drops off to his brother Jason. Troy down the lane, great penetration, then dropped it off for Jason. But I believe Jason was fouled before he got the hoop.
It's going to be on Hendricks, I believe. That'll be his first. That's something Pius, again, has to be careful of, because they just can't get a lot of fouls. They get in foul trouble, it'll be tough for them.
Troy Glock way out front to Kriesel now. 1:40 and counting down in the first quarter. Pius by 3. Troy Glock again penetrates. 13-footer, no good. He wanted to dish down low, and he committed himself and had to put it up, and it was a poor shot. Pius rebounds, and here comes Boudreau. Right side to Bird, up top to Hunsicker. Hunsicker starts to penetrate again, and this time he travels. Lee is giving away what he's going to do. He's tried to penetrate every time he's touched the basketball, and that time they knew it. They backed off and caused him to travel. So Wahoo will play it into the backcourt against full court pressure. Troy Glock, boy, there's no question as to who runs this team. They want Glock to handle this ball every time down if possible.
Guess who's guarding it? Hunsicker.
Shot up and no good by Jason Glock. Put back by Hoffman is good. Will it count? If it does, the basket is good, and there's a foul. It will count. Hoffman has all 7 of the Wahoo points so far. With a minute 6 remaining, he'll go to the line with a chance to tie it at 8. Neither team has been shooting well, but right now, Wahoo doing a better job of penetrating and getting it down low to the big guy. Hoffman's free throw is short, goes to the back of the ring and drops in. 8 points for Hoffman, and it's tied at 8.
Nichols will come into the ball game because Hendricks picked up his second. They will not risk him getting his third yet. And Nichols will do a good job on defense for him. He can hit the 3 once in a while, too.
Backcourt pressure. Boudreau off to Hunsicker. So Pius basically running a 3-guard offense right now. Hunsicker to Boudreau. Off to Nichols. Less than a minute remaining. Wahoo keeps changing up these defenses. Inside to Easley. Easley scores and he's fouled. And Easley scored, but they're waving it off. Boy, that's tough. Boy, Ed is really flexing his muscles inside. Once they get that entry pass inside, Easley knows what to do with it. Of course, Ed played football this year, and I think it's really helped him out on the basketball court. The foul is on Kriesel. Inbounds pass stolen by Troy Glock. Glock lobs it to his brother. Jason up in. Glock to Glock, and it's 10-8. Keep in mind that Wahoo graduated 4 starters from last year. They've had their first perfect season since 1922, undefeated and playing for the state championship for the 2nd straight year. Wahoo leads 10-8. Nichols and Boudreau just playing catch out front, off to Easley. They're winding down the clock. Going to take the last shot here of the first quarter, hopefully. It's down to 10. Off to Boudreau. Boudreau. Back to Nichols. This should know. There's the shot. 3-point shot. Good! Counted! Jeff Nichols. With 3 seconds left, Nichols hits the rainbow to put Pius up 11-10 at the end of the first quarter. Let's hope that's the good omen that the Bolts are going to need tonight. At the end of the quarter, Pius 11, Wahoo 10. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Tom, that's from the first quarter. Pius out-rebounded Wahoo 8-5. Both teams had 3 turnovers. Pius was 5 out of 11 from the field, and Wahoo 4 for 10. And up until Nichols hit that last shot, every point had come from within 5 to 10 feet of the basket. Pius plays it in to start the second quarter, leading by 1. The Bolts looking for their 2nd state championship. Still remember that 74 game 3-point shot. Boudreau short. Rebound Easley. Easley goes back up. It rolls around. It won't go. They battle. They hit the boards. a Wahoo player hits the deck, a whistle, and from the emotion on the floor, it would appear it's going to be against Wahoo.
It'll be Bernie Inbody, 5'9" sophomore, is first, and good positioning again by Pius. On the offensive boards, it's hard to get position, but they have a feel when somebody's going to shoot, and they can right away go underneath.
Boy, easily it's just been tough underneath. Pius inbounds and traveling called against Kelly Hendricks. So Kelly having his problems. He had to set out a lot of yesterday's game with foul trouble. And in the 2 games, he's got 23 points. 11-10. Inbody. Off to Kriesel. They back off Kriesel. They give him all the room he wants. Troy Glock in the paint. 10-footer. No good. Foul. I believe it's going to be on Nichols. Boy, you can see where Mick Anderson wants the ball in the hands of Troy Glock because he can hit outside. He is a three-point threat, but he's a great penetrator, and all the time he's looking.
He'll give that to Hunsiker. That'll be his first. And that is the 4th team foul on Pius. Both teams will be on the bonus on the next foul.
2 shots for Troy Glock. The first one is good. Took a long time, but it went down. So the Warriors are perfect from the free throw line, a 3 for 3. Pius hasn't been there yet. Second attempt, it's good. So Wahoo regains the lead at 12-11 against the backcourt pressure. Hendricks is handling. Off to Nichols. They're trying to trap Nichols in the backcourt. He lobs it up court. It's picked off. Nichols got confused. He panicked a little bit as the midcourt trap was on, and he throws it away. Kriesel up top. Right side it goes to Glock. Inside to his brother Jason, and a pushing off foul on Ed Easley, and Ed's going to have 2. Ed Easley picks up his second foul. Hendricks has 2. Second foul. Rob Brigham has 2 for Wahoo. We've only played about a minute of the second quarter, so the moment of truth for Pius may come early in this game if too many of their guys get in foul trouble. Jason Glock, Kansas. He's a 72% free throw shooter. He is just a sophomore, and as a freshman last year, he played in the district and state tournament. Gives you some idea of the caliber of player of this young man. Second free throw won't go. Burt with a rebound. So Wahoo finally misses. Wahoo by 2, 13-11. Boudreau off to Hunsiker. Pulls up, 17-footer short. They're short with everything tonight. Boy, it's just been very apparent that for some reason everybody's coming up short.
Again, good positioning, though, and easily able to draw the foul on Hoffman and Wahoo. So, again, I think Pius able to stay in this just because they're really hitting the boards.
Boy, I tell you, usually the sign of coming up short is that you're tired, and you wouldn't think that the Bolts are tired here in the first quarter. That usually happens in the fourth quarter. Easily misses. Hendricks tries to put it back but travels. Boy, I'll tell you, the Bolts right now are having their problems. Easily missed. And Kelly looked like was going to get an easy putback and travel.
You made a good point early, Jim, about who had the tougher road here. No doubt Pius did. Because that Ord game had to take a lot out of them. Ord was a great team.
On the other end, there's a collision on a pick as Hunsiker and Kriesel collide, and it's going to be on Hunsiker, and that's his second.
So that's 3 players and 2 apiece now for the Bolts. Hunsiker, Easley, and Hendricks.
At the line will be Kriesel. He's a 68% free throw shooter. It is no good. Rebound battle for Glock. Out battles Easley. Jason Glock gets it to brother Troy. He dribbles around to the right wing, kicks it back up top. Inbody, three-point shot blocked by Boudreau. Perfect timing by Johnny Boudreau, and Inbody gets a Spalding sandwich. However, Wahoo gets it back. Glock puts up the shot. No good. Rebound Inbody. He gets it inside to Hoffman, and he scores. And Hoffman's got 10 points already.
And when they got it inside, Easley had to back off. He couldn't get his third, so he got an easy 2 once the ball was there.
Boy, and you just have to think Wahoo's going to exploit this. Wahoo by 4, 15-11. We're 2 minutes in to the second quarter. Boudreau's shot is up. It's short, no good. Easley down with the rebound. The putback is no good. They get 2 cracks. It's no good. And then Easley and Hoffman come down with the basketball, and the alternating possession, it'll go to Wahoo. And the Bulls now, they look tired. At least from their shooting, they look tired. Timeout on the court. Exactly 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Wahoo 15, Pius 11, back in 60 seconds. Spring. Well, Steve, just from the way the Bolts have played here in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter, you got to think they're either tight or tired. And I can't think they'd be tight because they've played 2 really tough games. Although, you know, you got to remember, the kids yesterday said the pressure was off them because they're here now, but there is some pressure from the fact that they have finished second in the last 2 years. Wahoo plays it in, leading by 4. Pius has not scored in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter.
They do look like it's more fatigue than it is tightness, so you can kind of tell the difference.
Troy Glock gets it into brother Jason, and he scores. 5 points for Jason Glock. Pius down by 6. They're still working in the backcourt. Boudreau, up court it comes to Burt. Off to Hendricks. Hendricks pulls up from the free throw line and hits it. That's the one they needed. Kelly Hendricks has got to get in the offense. That's his first 2. Wahoo by 4. 5:27 left to go in the first half. Jim Miller and Steve Roth for KLIN Sports. Kriesel, right wing. Up top it goes to Inbody. Inside it goes to Jason Glock. Turnaround shot won't go. Rebound Burt. I'm surprised they're not working it inside more, Steve, because as you said, the last time they took it inside, easily had to back off because he's got... I'm surprised they're not working it inside more, Steve, because as you said, the last time they took it inside, easily had to back off because he's got 2 fouls. Hunziker, 15-footer, count it! Hunziker with his first 2. Pius back within 2. On the other end, Kriesel drives, misses. Hoffman rebound, put back short, no good. Burt gets the rebound, so now maybe the swing is coming the Bulls' way. Boudreau quickly in the front court. The Bulls with a chance to tie it up or take a lead with a 3-pointer. Hendricks up top. Hunziker, 14-footer, won't go. Rebound, Hendricks, put back, no good, but he's fouled. And now the Bulls appear to have gotten new life down there for some reason. They did look a little bit tired, but now they look pumped up again. And Hendricks will go to the line with a chance to tie it.
I noticed on the last time out, just as we were talking about them being a little tired, Kelly Hendricks ran to the bench like he was going to get there first and tell everybody, let's go. Everybody else walked to the bench. He ran to the bench, and he's really come out with fire in his eyes.
That foul was by Jason Glock, and Hendricks misses. So the Bolts, who have been unbelievable from the free throw line at 30 of 37, missed their first 2.
Now remember, they hit 10 of 10 in the fourth quarter yesterday. Maybe they're saving them.
Hendricks, it rolls around and drops in. Oh, that one used all of the iron to get down. 17-16, Wahoo by 1. 4:30 left to go in the first half. Troy Glock slowly in the front court. The Bolts playing man-to-man. Jason Glock off to brother Troy. Down low to Hoffman. Hoffman up and over Hendricks. It's no good. Rebound Hunziker. That time they go down low and challenge Hendricks, who has 2 fouls, but Kelly just got his hands up and caused Hoffman to miss the basket. Rebound Pius on the other end. Boudreau wants to set it up. They're looking at a 2-1-2 zone. Right corner to Easley. They've got a chance to get the lead here. 3-pointer, Boudreau, count it! John the Leprechaun. 3 for Johnny. On the other end, Kriesel, handle there. Troy Glickman tries to lob it down low to Hoffman. It's over his head and out of bounds. They went for the save but couldn't get it. Long lob pass by Glockman over everybody's head and out of bounds.
This has all happened since that last time out. They got a chance to catch their breath and get fired up.
You know, we've seen that the last 2 days. 1 timeout in every one of those games, Steve, has really gotten them pumped up. Pius breaks the press. Hendricks shot won't go. Long rebound to Inbody. Pius by 2. 3:15 and counting down in the first half.
That last shot was a little long, so maybe they got the adrenaline back.
Troy Glockman off to Inbody. To Glockman. They're looking inside. Inbody tries to jam it inside. Knocked away by Burt. Tom Burt on the breakaway. Carry up. Oh, he missed the shot. Great coast-to-coast move by Burt, but he missed it when he got there. Burt had to do a little juke move. On Glock, he got by, but then missed the layup. Kriesel on the other end, looking inside, gets it to Jason Glockman. Off to brother Troy. Shot is up and no good. Easley keeps the rebound alive, but Glockman gets it back. Jason Glockman He gets the shot down. It will not count. It will not count, and traveling is called. We were waiting for the indication. Was it traveling or was it a foul? And a break for the Bulls. It's traveling. Timeout. 2:35 left to go in the first half. Pius 19, Wahoo 17. We'll be back in 60 seconds. An unusual sight here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. Because the Wahoo bench is right in front of the Pius student section, they can't hear, so they have to bring their chairs out on the court, physically out on the court, and hold their huddle out on the court because the sound is so deafening that they can't hear the coaches.
I have a feeling Mick Anderson saw the Nebraska-Missouri game. That's where he got the idea.
Pius with a 2-point lead in the basketball. Hunsinger looking inside to Ed Easley. Back to Hunsinger. To Boudreau. 3-point shot. No! Put back Kelly Hendricks. The rebound came like a shot off the glass right to Kelly Hendricks, and a putback for Kelly. 21-17. A low-scoring affair. Boudreau almost steals that ball from in-body. 3-point shot. Blocked and stolen away by Boudreau. Boudreau blocked one. The second time around, he blocked it and stole it. And now on the other end, Kelly Hendricks is fouled by in-body.
You know what Boudreau did on that after he got it? He went underneath and waited for the rebound. Even though Hendricks got fouled, he was ready for the rebound. That is alert basketball to go the length of the court and get down there in time for the rebound in case he misses.
John the Leprechaun Boudreau with his green shoes is worth the price of admission. This kid is just one happy-go-lucky player, and as Steve said, nice story on him and some other players by Mike Babcock in this Morning Star. It was the second foul on in-body, and Kelly Hendricks makes his first, the first of the 1-and-1. He's got 6. Kelly was scoreless in the first quarter. He's chipped in 6 here to give the Bulls a 5-point lead and make it 6. 23-17, Pius by 6 with 1:50 remaining in the first half. Pius trying to win their second state championship. They won in 74. Dribbling is Troy Glock off to Hoffman. Boy, he almost lost it, gets it back. Now back in there's Brigham. Brigham penetrates right baseline. No advantage. Kicks it back out to Troy Glockman. 1.5 left to go in the first half. Off it goes to Jason Glock, to Kriesel. Kriesel looking inside, but they've got Hoffman fronted, and they've got someone behind him. Glockman penetrates. Troy Glockman's shot no good, and Easley with the rebound. Right now, Wahoo's having to force their shots a bit.
Again, Pius really playing the boards, Jim. They've done that whole game, really positioning themselves, and I think they should have the margin in the rebound.
Pius has taken control of this game. Hendricks from 17. Count it! Kelly Hendricks. It's showtime. 25-17, and now Hendricks intercepts a pass on the other end, and Wahoo right now is self-destructing, and with 45 seconds left to go, you can count on the Bulls to try and run the time off the clock and see if they can get another 2 before halftime. They're just playing catch out front. Hunsinger off to Hendricks. They have trouble, though, sometimes milking the clock. They would rather be going toward the basket than away from it.
How many times have you seen this fail for teams? So they'll try to go for last one and then give it up in the last couple of seconds.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
A ton of times. Hendricks out of the corner, 17-footer. It won't go. He gets his own rebound. 13 seconds. He puts it back up. It's in and out. No good. Rebound. Easley. Put back. Easy and Easley. Easy and. 3 seconds left to go. They get a pass on it. It's knocked out of bounds by Bird, and that's the end of the first half. What a comeback by the Bulls. They were dead. They didn't score in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter and then reeled off 16 points. What a second quarter for Pius. And at halftime, the Bulls 27, Wahoo 17. Steve will review the first half scoring in 60 seconds.
Is there Bob Devaney Sports Center, where Pius has put on a big second quarter surge and has taken a 10-point lead on the Wahoo Warriors, leading it at the half, 27-17. Pius led by just 1 at the end of the first quarter, and that was after a 3-point shot by Jeff Nichols, who drilled a beauty. But they fell behind by as many as 5 or 6 in that second quarter, but went on that big run and lead it by 10. Scoring in the first half. First of all, for Wahoo, Randy Hoffman with 10 points. He had 8 of those in the first quarter, 2 of 2 from the line. Jason Glock was 5. He's 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and Troy Glock is 2 of 2 from the line for his only points. For Pius, John Boudreau with 5 points. Lee Hunsiker with 2. Ed Easley has 8. 9 for Kelly Hendricks, who is 3 of 4 from the line, and 3 for Jeff Nichols. So again, there's that balanced scoring that Pius has to have, and they have it again tonight as they lead 27-17. We have a very special guest here at halftime.
Well, it's 10 points for Pius here at halftime, 27-17. And really kind of the shot that turned it around a little bit was Jeff Nichols' three-pointer at the end of the first quarter that put the Bolts up 11-10. That looked like it might be the spark, but then they went flat for 2 minutes. But then a timeout, and I don't know. We're going to have to ask Cy what he says in his timeouts, because this is the third time this has happened that one of the timeouts has really got them pumped.
I'll be honest, and I think Tom would admit it. A lot of time it's what the kids say in the timeout. And I think that one, it was Kelly Hendricks, because he ran over there like a bullet, and he realized what was going on. He sat down, he waited for the other kids, and he looked them in the eyes and said, guys, don't want to let this one get away, but they got a long ways to go.
Well, he must have pumped himself, Steve, because he went scoreless in the first quarter, and basically since that timeout, he's chipped in 9 points to lead the Pius scoring. So I think Kelly Hendricks may have done a number on himself. Well, they've had a little time on the clock, and they're out just warming up now, and we will now be back with the start of the second half here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center in 60 seconds. Bob? Well, can we get the Bolts through here? Well, we'll find out. Another 16 minutes of playing time, and Pius is up by 10. And boy, Wahoo really went silent in that second quarter, Steve.
You know, one thing I think is really important. The Bolts can't afford to have a letdown right here. They're up by 10, but they just can't let Wahoo get back on them, or it's going to be tough. They need to try to build on that. And the girls found that out last week, that it is tough to keep the intensity up.
And, of course, keep in mind they've got 3 players with 2 fouls each. The Bolts play it in to start the third quarter, leading by 10. Burt handles right side. Out front to Boudreau. Skip pass over to Hunsiker. To Burt in the corner. Shot up. Bingo! Tom Burt with his first 2, believe it or not. 12-point lead for Pius. Kriesel dribbles to the free throw line. Kicks it off to Jason Glock. Off to Brigham. Back out it comes to Troy Glock. To Kriesel. Lob pass down low to Hoffman. And there's a collision underneath between Burt and Hendricks and Hoffman, and I believe it's going to be on Tom Burt.
You know, one thing you talked about Kriesel, they're laying off. That's because Kelly Hendricks playing man-to-man. Kelly knows he can't shoot real well from the outside, so he's playing underneath to get the rebounds, and it's really paid off in this game.
He's also got to help him out because that was just his first foul. Running jump shot up and in by Brigham. So Rob Brigham with his first 2 points of the game, and Pius by 10 against the backcourt pressure. Hunsiker dribbling against Glock. Looking, he's going to have to a timeout. He uses up a timeout because they knew they were not going to get it across the timeline in 10 seconds. And so Wahoo's early backcourt pressure causes Pius to use an early timeout in the first minute of the third quarter. So there's timeout with Pius leading 29-19 over Wahoo. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Jim, you know, sometimes you take a timeout in that situation. You say, well, maybe they giving up the ball would be better than wasting a timeout. Not in this case, because when they take the timeout, they can discuss what to do against the press. Not only does he save losing the ball, but he can also take time to say, Coach, what do we want to do against this press? So that was a good timeout in both ways.
But Wahoo keeps changing up their press a little bit. And there's been a couple times it's really bothered him. Usually they haven't had too much trouble. Now Pius plays it in. Glock picks up Boudreau as John comes across the timeline. Off to Hunsiker. Hunsiker to Ed Easley, who's pulled out of the left-hand corner. Hunsiker, 17-footer, no good, but he gets his own rebound. His putback is up short, no good. Rebound battle for it. Hendricks comes up with it. Someone's over his back, and I believe it's Hoffman.
Might be Glock. They're both right there in the vicinity. It could be either one. Yep, Hoffman, you're right.
Second foul on Hoffman, so 3 Pius and 3 Wahoo players with 2 fouls each. Inbounds to Boudreau, 3-point shot, counted. John the Leprechaun. 8 points for Johnny.
He wanted that one all the way. He set up early, decided he was going to shoot it.
32-19. Pius would love to run away and hide early and not have to worry about this being another Ord game. Out of the corner, the shot by Kriesel. Short, no good. It's deflected out of bounds and touched last by Ed Easley of Pius.
This is where Pius, you know, they have an advantage because they have more seniors and more experience. When you have the lead, it's a bit of an advantage in this situation.
Wahoo inbounds. Troy Glock goes in the lane. 12-footer won't go, but he's fouled in there, and I believe it's going to be on Kelly Hendricks, and that'll be his third. And, of course, keep in mind, Pius is up by 13, but they have 3 people on the verge of getting in all sorts of foul trouble, and if they do, then you're going to see Mick Anderson take it down low and challenge him because he's got to get those guys out of here to win.
That's where Wahoo has the advantage, is that foul trouble. And, of course, Mick Anderson, a very, very good coach.
Troy Glock at the line with 2 shots, and the first one is good. He has 3 points, all from the line. He's averaging 15 points a game.
Keep in mind, Hunziker's been defending him, and that's why he doesn't have any field goals for one reason.
Make it 4 free throws now. 32-21. Again, the backcourt press. Boudreau dribbling and almost fouled by Troy Glock. Glock came up behind him and almost fell over him. Off to Hunziker. Back to Boudreau. 3-point shot. No. Off the front of the iron. Rebound. Long rebound to Troy Glock. And here come the Warriors. 2 minutes into the third quarter. They're down by 11. Jason Glock. Off it goes to Edey, who's now in there. Ryan Edey handling in the left-hand corner. Kicks it out to Troy Glock. Off to brother Jason in the corner. Kriesel wide open. They let him go. He drives in the lane. 7-footer off the glass. Won't go. Rebound Tom Burt. Outlet pass to Boudreau, and here come the Bolts on the transition.
And Hendricks has just been challenging Kriesel to shoot it.
With the basketball is Hunziker. He penetrates, kicks it off to Burt. No advantage. Lobs try and jam it in the middle to Hendricks. It's deflected, but Hunziker picks it up. Now off to Hendricks. Inside, Easley. 8-footer. Bingo! Easy. Ed Easley with 10.
Pius has outscored Wahoo 7-4 here in the third quarter to add to their lead.
34-21 Pius. 5:15 left to go, and we've got something out on the court, I believe. We've got an official's timeout as something's been thrown out on the court.
And, of course, Harold Simpson, Lincoln High football coach, right out there to spot it. He's got those good eyes.
Boy, Harold, and there's a whole bunch of people that work behind the scenes here as floor directors and the like, and they just do a great job with student and crowd control. We understand that the crowds have been a little more orderly this week than maybe of the girls' state tournament last week.
Boy, another big one in here tonight, Jim. They're starting to pack in again.
Yep, they're starting to fill them up to the rafters as they get set for Millard South and Columbus in the Class A game. But right now, we're trying to get the Bolts their 24th straight win to avenge last year's state tournament game.
I'm laughing because Dennis Shirley's the only guy that can spot a piece of ice at midcourt. And he got him out there, and now Harold finally was able to get... Boy, somebody must have threw a whole glass full out there.
I'll tell you, I hope they find that person and they show him where the exit is. Boy, is that dumb. That is just stupid. They always think it's going to be the other team that slips. There's a pass right through the hands of Kriesel and out of bounds. So after they get the ice off the court, it iced down the hands of Cliff Kriesel right through it into the Wahoo bench. So Hunziker gets it into Boudreau. Again, the backcourt pressure. Boudreau lobs it in the front court to Hendricks. Pius by 13. We've played 3 minutes of the third quarter. Jim Miller and Steve Roth for KLIN Sports. Easily inside to Burt. Burt's turnaround 10-footer off the glass. Good! Tommy Burt. Burt with a great spin move. Went to his right, back to his left, and off the glass. It was a pretty shot. And now timeout Wahoo as Mick Anderson says stop the music. His Warriors are down by 15. There's 4:42 left to go in the third quarter. Pius 36. Wahoo 21, back in 30.
Today's
36-21. Pius with a 15-point lead. And I think it's just, of course, it's easy to sit up here and say it, but boy, I think that Wahoo's got to try and get it inside, I would say, Steve, because they've got 3 on Hendricks. They got Easley with 2 and Hunziker with 2, and they've just got to get, because neither bench is that deep, they've got to get Pius to the moment of truth before they get to the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you this, though. Pius better have the killer instinct, or they're going to be in trouble. I mean, they just got to put them away when they got a shot. They can't let Wahoo back in, because this is a good ball club.
Pius playing very determined basketball right now. They've been bridesmaids 2 years in a row. These kids, before they retire and move on to bigger and better things, want the big kahuna. Shot by Hoffman, blocked out of bounds by Lee Hunziker. The Pius Bolts defensive specialist came up behind Hoffman, and without picking up his third foul, blocked that shot out of bounds. Troy Glock inbounds to Hoffman right under the basket, and we've got a foul, and is it going to be on Hunsaker? Who's it on? Woo, hold your breath. Nope, I believe it's going to be on Burt.
You were worried it was Hendricks, huh?
Ooh, I thought Kelly. Well, Kelly, you could tell. You told by his reaction, I could tell it wasn't Kelly, but I thought it might be Hunsaker. So 4 of the 5 Pius starters have 2 or more fouls. In there now, and putting up the shot, and down it goes, is Steve Boland. Steve Boland, a 6'3" wide body, is down there. He's just a sophomore, and he comes in with some instant offense. 36-23, Pius by 13. Burt lobs it over the top to Boudreau. Boudreau, no advantage, kicks it back out to Hunsaker. Smart move. John could have forced it that time, but didn't. I think they realize they have to continue to play smart basketball. Penetrating is Hunsaker. He tried to shovel it off to Burt, but the pass was way low, and Burt was tied up, and it'll go to Wahoo on the alternating possession.
What I like about Hunsaker, though, is he'll fake the three-pointer that come out on him, and he'll penetrate, so he still's got the right idea.
Here comes Wahoo. This could be a big possession here. Glock off to his brother Jason. Jason drives, shot off the glass. It's good, and he's fouled. Now, will it count? I'm sure it will. He was airborne, and it's going to be, I believe, on Easley. Third foul on Ed Easley, and so Jason Glock, who had 5 points in the first half and averages 21 a game, gets 2, and he could make it a three-pointer. He misses. Rebound Hendricks. But Wahoo is back within 11. 3:40 left to go, third quarter. A rematch of last year's Class B championship game that Wahoo won 50-48. Three-pointer Boudreau, counted! John the Leprechaun.
3 3-pointers for Boudreau.
And if you think that's booing you hear in the background, it's not. That's what the Pius students do when Boudreau hits. It comes up boo. 39-25, Bulls by 14. Troy Glock, his three-pointer is an air ball out of bounds, and now he'll get the air. No, it's deflected.
They said Boudreau blocked it, and John can't believe it.
Well, I didn't think John got a piece of it.
I didn't either, but we're a long ways away.
But it was way off the mark. You can't think that Glock is going to miss by that far, so you have to say probably it was ticked by Boudreau. And John just boning up on his acting job there. And now Boland, trying to drive to the basket, travels.
Boudreau reached in there, knocked it off his leg. He caught it back and walked with it. So another good defensive job by Boudreau. Boudreau playing as good a defense as I've seen him play.
Well, I'll tell you, Wahoo's got a team of the future, though. This Boland is a sophomore, and Glock is a sophomore. They got 2 sophomores on their first 2 subs in. Now, there's a steal by Glock. Pius got a little lackadaisical, and Troy Glock, trailing the play, snuck up and stole it off to brother Jason. He misses. Rebound, easy Ed Easley. Easley up with authority to grab the board with 2:40 left to go, third quarter. Pius by 14.
They got to get that killer instinct right now.
Kelly Hendricks. Up top it comes to Burt. Burt penetrates down low to Easley. Easley buffed it momentarily, picks it up and scores off a great pass from Tom Burt. Basket, Ed Easley.
That's why he muffed it. He couldn't believe the pass either. It was something to behold.
What a bullet. And Easley, in self-defense, knocked it down, picked it up, and stuck it in. Pius by 16. Jason Glock drives, pulls up, no shot, off to Boland, to Kriesel. They don't have what you'd call their best offensive team in there right now. Kriesel is no threat from outside at all. Inside, Jason Glock, turnaround jump shot, no good. Rebound, Tom Burt, so it's 1 shot and out. Pius trying to put them away in the third quarter, so maybe they could breathe a little easier in the fourth. They're up by 16. Boudreau, Hunsaker, 16-footer, Rebound, Kelly Hendricks, three-pointer, Boudreau, rolls across the ring, no good.
The fans came to their feet hoping for that one, but he was just off the mark.
Rebound, Kriesel of Wahoo on the other end. It's Troy Glock driving. Troy Glock challenged Kelly Hendricks. He got the basket, and did he get the foul too? If he did, that could be a big play with 1:24 left to go in the third quarter, because if so, that's 4 on Hendricks. Troy Glock, there's no secret, his brother Jason averages 21 a game and has 9 rebounds, but if Glock doesn't penetrate and dish it off or draw the foul, then they're not nearly as effective.
I'm surprised that Hendricks is in there with those 4 fouls with just 1:20 to go in this quarter.
Hendricks did pick up his 4th foul. Glock misses the free throw, so it's 41-27, Pius by 14. Tom Burt, off to Hunsicker, off to Boudreau, lobs it to Easley. They're trying to milk the clock a little bit here. Let's see if they go to take it all off. Hunsicker to Burt, 17-footer, won't go, crash the boards, rebound Hoffman.
My heart just went in my throat. Hendricks come charging in there. He about got his 5th.
On the other end, Glock to the basket, no good. Yes, it goes down. It started to roll out, and Ed Easley, I think, just picked up his 4th foul. Troy Glock is taking it to the Bulls right now, even though Pius leads by 12.
And that's it counted. And that's the tough part, Jim, is, again, as I said, you got to get that killer instinct. You're going to have to put them away. They've let up just a little bit, and boy, that's really allowed Wahoo to come charging back. And they've got a long ways to go in this game.
Now, keep in mind, there's still 47 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and Kelly Hendricks and Ed Easley, who are leading the team in scoring and rebounding, each have 4 fouls. Glock makes this free throw. Look out. We could have a dynamite 4th quarter. Pius up by 11, but in all sorts of foul trouble. Kelly Hendricks up near the timeline, loses the ball out of bounds, and credit Randy Hoffman with causing that, because Hendricks was afraid if he went after the ball, he was going to collide with Hoffman and pick up his 5th foul, and in his tentative manner, fumbled that ball out of bounds. 36 seconds left to go. Inside it goes to Hoffman. Hoffman starts. He's tied up Lee Hunsicker. Lee Hunsicker, who comes up with as big a plays at the right time for Pius as anyone, ties up Hoffman, and the Bolts will get it back with 32 seconds left, 3rd quarter, leading by 11. Here comes Hendricks. Hendricks has the ball knocked away and out of bounds, but it's off Hendricks' foot, they say. The Bolts self-destructing. They're still ahead by 11, but you can see the ingredients for quite a 4th quarter here. 2 of their starters with 4 fouls. Here comes Glock. Glock again penetrates, takes it to the hole, and he's fouled on the way in, and who got him? Uh-oh. Hold your breath. Glock right now, Troy Glock, is going to become a one-man gang right now for one reason. He's going to go right down the lane or wherever he gets the ball and challenge whichever Pius player comes after him.
That's the 3rd on Hunsicker. So again, all the starters getting in foul trouble.
Troy Glock hits the free throw, and all of a sudden, everybody was getting ready to celebrate there for Pius, and now it's down to 10 points, but that's just part of the story. 2nd free throw is short, no good. And there's a foul on the rebound, and it's going to be on Jason Glock.
That's only his 2nd. But up to that time, Troy Glock had hit 6 and 6 free throws. Missed his first one.
That's only the 2nd team foul against Wahoo, so it's going to be a long time before the Bolts go to the free throw line. Boudreau very tentatively across the timeline, almost has his pocket pick. 12 seconds left to go. Pius by 10. Off to Hendricks. 7 seconds. Hendricks shot up. Good! Kelly Hendricks with a big basket. His first points of the 3rd quarter. And now what's happened? They've called an official's timeout. It's down to 1 second.
I wonder if they're talking to him about hitting the ball after it goes through the hoop. I wonder if somebody hit the ball after it went through. It might be a possibility. Is that what it was?
I think so. That's what Frank is indicating here. So 1 second left as Troy Glock will play it in. That was a big basket by Hendricks. There's the long full court pass, and Hendricks intercepts it. That's it. After 3 quarters, Pius is up by 12, but they're in big foul trouble. Back with the final quarter of this Class B championship game on KLIN in 60 seconds.
4th quarter to see if Tom Seib will go to his bench early and save some of the guys with 4 fouls. He'll come out with the 5 starters. But let's see as they go along whether he'll just leave them in there because they brought him to the show and then take his chances or bring some of those guys in and spell the guys with 4.
Pius was 7 out of 13 from the field in the 3rd quarter. Wahoo 5 of 9. They stay in the man-to-man. That kind of surprises me. Out it comes to Kriesel. Kriesel off to Glock. Hunsicker's got him. He penetrates. This time can't do anything. Kicks it off to Kriesel. Off it goes to Edey, who's now in there. Edey off to Troy Glock. Pius by 12. Glock drives. Scoop shot no good, but somebody, is it going to be Hendricks? Let's see.
I think it's Hunsiker. Hunsiker gets his fourth. So Hunsiker with 4, Easley with 4, and Hendricks with 4. And what's happening, Jim, in that man-to-man defense, Wahoo sets up a pick every time. So what Pius is doing now is backing off to allow them to slide around the pick, but Glock is so quick, he then gets by him when they back off.
He is so quick. He has just taken it right to the hoop. Makes his first free throw. Here's his second attempt, and it is good, and he is now 7 out of 8 from the free throw line. He does not have a field goal yet.
He has 2 field goals, I think, but 12 points. Maybe I gave him the wrong Glock.
With the ball is Pius, down by 10. And now we've got a foul. Troy Glock, going for the interception, has the foul. 10-point lead for Pius, but that's only the 3rd team foul against Wahoo, and for Glock, that's just his first foul. Pius with the basketball and a 10-point lead. We're in the 4th quarter. Off it goes to Hunsiker. It'll be interesting to see if Pius just tries to take a little time off the clock, because that, too, will help them. No, down low, beautiful pass. Hunsiker to Burt. They lulled Wahoo to sleep for a little bit, and then Hunsiker penetrated, kicked it off to Burt, easy 2. Now a pass down low, and it goes out of bounds, touched last by Randy Hoffman. And Mick Anderson wants timeout. Mick Anderson realizes he's got to get this thing turned around early in the 4th quarter, foul trouble or not, and he wants timeout. We've played a minute of the 4th quarter. It's Pius 45, Wahoo 33, back in 30 seconds.
Basketball tournament time.
Jim, I think a big factor that everybody's talking about, 3 players with 4 fouls, and I think somebody's going to have to come off that bench and do real well for him. There's some kids that have played a lot during the year, haven't played much in the tournament.
Kodad, Ted Campbell, John Majerus playing their final game, and they hope it's for the big one. Pius by 12, and they have the basketball. Behind the back dribble by Boudreau. Boy, Johnny, who had a so-so game in the first game, is really heating up here as he takes it all the way to the hole and scores. Johnny Boudreau hesitated momentarily, kept his dribble going, and now we've got a collation and a blocking foul on Kriesel.
Well, there it is. Mick Anderson likes to play that real pick offense off the man-to-man. Pius got caught a couple of times. At that time, Kriesel didn't get his feet set on the block, and he gets called for the foul.
14-point Pius lead. 6:35 left to go as they play it in the backcourt. John Boudreau had just a so-so first game against Schuyler, but boy, he has picked it up since then. Inside to Burt. Back out to Easley. They're looking for the easy bucket, but they realize with so many people in foul trouble, if they can take a little time off the clock, it does a couple of things. It does take the time off the clock, but it keeps their starters in there. 6:10 left to go. Pius by 14. Kelly Hendricks off to Burt. And, of course, Wahoo likes to play a zone. Hendricks in the lane. 10-footer, good.
Big bucket right there.
16-point lead for Pius. Kriesel lobs it down low. Hoffman up and in. They got it over the top, and they can't challenge him down low with all the foul problems, and that's the first 2 points of the second half for Hoffman, who had 10 at halftime.
Another reason they want to take time off the clock is because they can't play very much defense on the other end. They'd rather play a lot of offense.
Inside it goes to Easley. Easley starts up with a shot and is tied up, and it'll stay with the Bulls. So Easley went up and got tied up, but the Bullets will keep it. Now Brigham checks back in for Edey for Wahoo. Hunsiker pulls the trigger on the inbounds. Player wants to, and now he has to call timeout. No, he didn't get it called in time. Marty Going says no. Turnover, Pius. That's the second time they've either wanted to or had to call a timeout because of the great Wahoo defense. Now there's a collation. No foul. Shot up and good by Troy Glock. Wahoo trying to turn this game around with their defense. Pius breaks the press, gets it up to Burt. Off to Boudreau. Boudreau penetrates, kicks it off to Kelly Hendricks. Now Hunsiker will handle out front. as Wahoo doesn't want to go man-to-man. Mick Anderson says we want to play all zone. Boy, they almost throw it away. Boudreau gets it back, goes up, hangs off the glass. No, they crash the boards. A foul on the rebound.
Boudreau was just hammered in there as he knocked to the floor. Apparently, though, it wasn't they didn't feel it affected his shot. But just lucky for Pius that they had some position in there.
Well, we'll have to wait and see who they ring up the foul on.
And that finally is going to put Pius into the bonus. So now they're going to have to hit those free throws again, Jim. Can they do it again?
Well, they were 10 for 10 yesterday. At the line, Ed Easley. Ed is 0 for 1 from the free throw line. He has 12 points. Free throw up and good. Ooh.
And the thing is, if they miss a couple, then you know that Wahoo's going to come after them all that much more. I think they will anyway once you get under 4 minutes, but that's a minute away yet.
Ed Easley, second free throw is short. Rebound battle for Burt, had it for a moment, but loses it to Troy Glock. Glock across the timeline. Pius by 13. Pulls up, puts up the shot. It's in and out, no good. Hoffman with the rebound, and he's fouled, though, as they come down, and Burt picks up his third foul. But it'll send Randy Hoffman to the free throw line, where he's 2 for 2.
Well, this is really getting to be nervous time because you look down, you see all those fouls. The only one that's not in foul trouble is Boudreau.
Randy Hoffman. Now let's see if Wahoo can make them when they have to. Free throw is good. Up to this game, Pius had been the much better free throw shooting team in the tournament, as they had hit 30 of 37, and Wahoo had hit 15 of 34, less than 50%. Free throw is good. He hits them both. As a team, they shoot 59%. Pius plays it in, leading by 11. But they are in a big whole bunch of foul trouble. With the ball is Hunziker. Down low to Boudreau. Boudreau starts in the back door. Has his shot blocked beautifully by Troy Glick. Glock blocks the shot. Picked up loose by Wahoo. Brigham off to Kriesel. Kriesel looking. Puts up the shot, and it's good. He just couldn't find anybody to pass to, and Kriesel gets his first 2 points of the night. And cuts the Pius lead to 9. We're halfway through the fourth quarter, and now Brigham trailing Hunziker up court. Hunziker put on the brakes, and Brigham bangs into him.
Well, that was a big possession for Wahoo that last trip because they were able to cut into the double-digit deficit. Now it's down to 9. Hunziker has a chance to pick it back up to 10, but it's a 1-on-1 here.
Hunziker, free throw is up, and it's good. Lee's a 69% free throw shooter. He has 3 points on the night. But, of course, he's the real defensive specialist. He does so many other things than score. Second shot, no good. So it's a 10-point lead for Pius. We're exactly halfway through the fourth quarter. Troy Glock, cut off by Easley. Kicks it out front to Kriesel. Down low, they try to get it to Jason Glock. It's deflected away to Brigham. Brigham penetrates. No shot. Kicks it off to Hoffman. To Glock. Glock penetrates, goes in, uncontested. Glock knew it. After he got halfway there, he knew the two guys that were staring him in the face had 4 fouls, and he just took it to him. 8-point lead for Pius, and Pius comes across the timeline and wants timeout. We've got a game on our hands. 3:36 remaining. Pius 51, Wahoo 43. Back in 30 seconds.
I think most people would agree that the fouls are the big key for Pius down the stretch. 3:36 to go. And you would have to think they're going to try to take some time off, but that means you're going to have to hit some free throws.
Well, Wahoo has been to the free throw line 18 times in this game, and Pius has been there 9. So it gives you some idea. But here's the situation. Lee Hunziker has 4 fouls. Ed Easley, 4 fouls. Kelly Hendricks, 4 fouls. Tom Burt, 3 fouls. And there's still 3:36 remaining. Pius will have the basketball when play resumes. Can the Bulls hang on? Or will they have to settle for the runner-up trophy 3 years in a row? Boy, we hope not. These kids deserve it. But the Wahoo kids are tough. Keep in mind they graduated 4 of their 5 starters from last year's championship team, and they're back here this year. And now Boudreau almost throws it away. He would have thrown it away, but Brigham reached in and got a hand on it. That pass was intended for Hunsaker, who was breaking the other way, but Brigham just got a hand on it, luckily for Pius.
You believe Hunsaker pointed the wrong way? He forgot where he was on the court for a moment.
Inbounds to Burt. Burt drives, easy basket, and he's fouled. Pius has got some great inbounds plays. We've seen them do it so many times. They have a variety of inbounds plays that seem to get someone open so beautifully, and that time it was Burt. Hunsaker rips the pass to him. Burt gets an easy two, and Jason Glock has his third foul. Burt, who was scoreless in the first half, now has 9 here in the second. 54-43, Pius by 11. Glock cut off by Hunsaker, so he won't be able to penetrate this time until he gets his hands back on the ball. Kriesel drives, shot up, no good. Rebound batted around, and Burt ends up with it. John Boudreau kept that alive. It was Boudreau who kept that rebound alive and got it to Burt. Boudreau almost loses it in the backcourt, gets it off to Hunsaker. Down to 3 minutes left to go, and now we've got a foul. Got a foul.
That'll be on Glock.
Troy Glock trying to strip Hunsaker.
Well, again, it's a free throws. Pius is 3 out of 5 here in the fourth quarter. Hunsaker will have a crack at the one-on-one. If they can hit their free throws, I think they've got it, but they've got to hit them.
Lee Hunsaker at the free throw line. It is up, and it is good. It rattled around in there for a while. They've got to be tired. They've played 3 games in 3 days, and I don't care if you are 16 or 17 or 18. You expand a lot of energy. Second free throw. This one is short, and that's what happens when you get tired. So they've been able to make one and miss one. On the other end, Glock takes it to the hole and scores. Troy Glock knows that he can score as many as he can if he can penetrate. And now Hunsaker, unable to get it in on the inbounds play, has to call timeout again. So with 2:50 left to go, Pius hanging on the ledge, trying to weather the storm. It's Pius 55, Wahoo 45. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Are you looking?
2 minutes and 50 seconds is all that's between Pius and a state championship in Class B. Their last one in 74.
You know, Jim, you and I are sitting here in pins and needles, and because we happen to know the Pius kids and have followed them so much, we, of course, would like to see them. But imagine what it's like for the mothers and fathers and grandpas and grandmas. I can't imagine what that must be like.
They're a little weak in the knees right now as Hunsaker places it in the backcourt. Well, I'll tell you, Wahoo's done a great job this time. They get it into Boudreau, and he'll bring it into front court. So they did break the pressure. Off it goes to Hunsaker. Time so valuable right now. Every tick of the clock. Hunsaker looking, lobs it down low to Easley, and it's almost saved. Oh, what a save. I'm not sure who did. It was Glock that did that. Glock went diving out of bounds, and how he saved that, I'll never know. Three-pointer, no good. Rebound, Hendricks. Glock was going for the howitzer and missed.
If he hits that one, boy, it's tough down the stretch.
Boudreau behind the back dribble, front court. John the Leprechaun has been just sensational the last 2 games. He's hit 3 3-pointers here tonight. Pius by 10. 2 minutes between them and a state championship, and now the 4th foul on Rob Brigham as he fouls Lee Hunsaker.
Now, Lee, if he can just relax a little bit, he's 2 out of 4 here in the fourth quarter. And his second one, he's been a little short. And just looking at him, he's pulling on those trunks means he's a little tired. Also, I think Lee is thinking about those a little bit. So I hope the young man can relax for his sake because he's a great ball player.
Do you realize that Tom Seib, this is his 3rd year, he could have 3 state championships in his first 3 years if his team had won. They finished second twice, and it looks like they're about to win this year as Hunsaker makes that one. That would have been unbelievable. Rick Kalura has been in the state tournament his first 3 years, finished second his first year, but Tom Seib really had a crack at 3 state championships in his first 3 years. Hunsaker makes them both. That just dawned on me now as I saw him jump up and shout instructions. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Glock off to Edey. 3-pointer good. Ryan Edey, who can light him up from 3-point land, is in there now, and he cans it to put Wahoo back within 9. And on the inbounds pass, a foul on Glock as he fouls Boudreau.
That's only his 3rd, so But Wahoo, by staying out of foul trouble early, really have been able to keep in the game. Had the fouls been the other way, I think this game would have got out of hand. But the foul situation has really dictated a close game.
1:48 remaining. Boudreau has not been at the free throw line tonight. He's got 13 points. John is a 75% free throw shooter, but he misses. So Pius, who was so deadly in the fourth quarter yesterday, struggling here. Glock gets it off to Edey. Edey running jump shot. It won't go. Rebound battled for, and Boudreau comes up with it. Falls to the floor. It's still on the floor. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be Wahoo's ball. Marty Going took a long time. He let the players lay on the floor and go after it, and it went out of bounds. And Wahoo will have another shot at it here with 1:32 remaining.
Boudreau must think he's going to get the ball out. Now he realizes there for a while he was hoping to get the ball, but he slipped down, and that's what he's trying to do is get that water wiped up off the floor. 57-48, 1:32. Well, I tell you what, it's got to be the longest 1:32 that Tom Seib has seen in a long time. I know it was long last year, but to see his team have a lead like this and Wahoo coming back, he's got to be nervous about it.
Pius by 9. Glock. Off it goes to his brother Jason. Jason pulls up, 10-footer. It hangs and goes. Boy, it took a long time, but it goes down. 57-50, and Mick Anderson quickly calls timeout. That's what he's got to do to stop that clock. 1:22 remaining. Pius trying to hang on here. It's Pius 57, Wahoo 50. We'll be back to the Bob Devaney Sports Center in 30 seconds. Boy, I'll tell you, if Wahoo can milk this 1:22 the way they want to, foul, get Pius to miss, come down on the other end, because I think they've still got a couple of timeouts left. They can really stretch this 1:22 out to almost an eternity here if things go their way. So this 7-point lead for Pius is, I won't say tentative, but certainly it's not insurmountable. Pius breaks the press as they get it up court to Boudreau. They're going after Boudreau. They get it off to Hunziker. Hunziker. Glock tries to knock the ball away, doesn't foul him. They get it off to Boudreau. It's down to 1:09. They're going to have to hurry up. Kelly Hendricks now is fouled. Fouled by Edey, or is it Brigham? Edey it is.
They got a nice chunk off there if they can get 10 to 15 at a time. But again, the free throws is where it's going to count. Hendricks 3 out of 4. He's got 13 points. And boy, these are a couple of biggies, to say the least. One thing they would do is force Wahoo to shoot threes instead of twos. And
Hendricks, a 73% free throw shooter, gets it down. Kelly Hendricks, who's been on all three of these state champion or these state tournament teams, looking for his first state championship, and he gets the second one. Boy, that's what happens when you put some loft on it and hit the front of the iron. It's got a chance. On the other end, Glock off to Edey. 3-point shot. It won't go. They crash the boards. Rebound, Jason Glock. His putback is good, and he's fouled. Uh-oh. Somebody may be gone.
That's going to be easily, I believe. And I tell you, Ed tried his darndest just to play good defense, and they called him tight there. That's the in for Easley. He'll have to sit and watch, and that's going to be the hardest part.
That's the last time we'll say easy Ed Easley. Ed, a senior, and it was the second leading scorer in the tournament in Class B coming into this game. Of course, the real leader is Marty Dubas, who had 61 points. Ed had 37 coming in, and he'll end up with 13 tonight.
One thing is, they do bring Nichols in. That does give him another ball handler.
55 seconds left to go. And Wahoo can cut it to 6 here. Of course, that's 2 threes. Jason Glock, a 6'3" sophomore. He's 2 out of 5 from the free throw line, but he makes this one. The sophomore makes it under pressure. 13 points for Jason Glock. They get it into Boudreau, and Boudreau loses it out of bounds. Boudreau got a hand on it, and then Wahoo put on the pressure, and Boudreau loses it out of bounds. Pius, are they seeing this game slip away or not? Wahoo gets it in to Edey. Edey working against Boudreau, gets it off the Glock. 3-point shot, it is short, no good. The ball is loose, they're after it. Wahoo gets it. Troy Glock. 3-point shot's going to be short. Rebound, Kelly Hendricks. He's fouled by Jason Glock with 36 seconds left to go.
Big miss. And somebody came out and played great defense. They didn't give Glock the true three-pointer. They forced him 2 feet back, and that was just a tremendous job of defense. I didn't get to see who it was. Hunziker? Hunziker came out. I mean, a lot of kids would have just laid back, let him take it. He forced him to shoot it a little longer than he wanted, and he was just short on it.
That was a little play that you'll never see in the box scores. You may not even see it in the game film, but Hunziker caused Glock to really miss on that one. So they're still alive. Glock on the other end. Drives, shovels it off to his brother. It's up and in. And it's down to 4 points with 28 seconds left to go, and Wahoo calls timeout. The Glock brothers combine for an easy 2. Timeout on the court. 28 seconds remaining. Pius 59, Wahoo 55. We will be back in 30 seconds.
Well, Wahoo hopes the Glock family never moves away. Troy Glock, 18 points, 14 for Jason Glock. So the brothers really doing it to Pius right now. They've got him within 4. But the bottom line is the Bolts have missed some big free throws.
Yeah, and they can expect to be back on the free throw line a time or two before this game is over. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Wahoo fouls here. Hunziker will inbounds. He's looking for a pick. Gets it into Boudreau. Boudreau. Off it goes to Nichols. Nichols breaks the press. Long down-court pass. And Burt. He pulls up. Now he shoots it. He had an easier shot the first time, but Tom Burt makes a twisting turnaround bank shot. They need 2 threes. There's a 3-point shot. Good. Holy cow.
In body.
In body. And now they pick off the inbounds pass. There's a 3. It's up. It is good. With 1 second left to go, they tie it. I can't believe it. Holy cow.
I didn't see who made it.
Glock. Troy Glock banked it off the glass with 3 seconds remaining to tie it. You won't see a more unbelievable finish. An NBA three-pointer by Bernie Inbody. And then they stole the inbounds pass. And Glock put it up with 1 second left to go. It went off the glass, rolled around the ring, and then went down.
You got to wonder now if Pius can come back from that. I mean, that is going to be almost next to impossible to fight the crowd, the emotion, the letdown, the feeling of another one slipping away. If Pius comes back and win this, that would be, I think, a miracle for him. I really think they're going to have a hard time now.
You talk about miracles in sports, and they are there. Of course, the big miracle you always remember is the United States-Russian hockey game. But my goodness, at the high school level, 2 3-point shots, and one was from NBA range, and the other one was just casted up with 2 seconds to go. So here we go into overtime.
I just saw Boudreau look at Glock and say, that's a heck of a shot.
Boy, it was. Now let's see if the Bolts can regain their composure here. Overtime is 3 minutes. Hoffman to go against Burt. And the tip, it goes to Jason Glock. He stole it away from Kelly Hendricks. Off to Troy Glock. He drives. Bank shot won't go. Rebound Kelly Hendricks. And his pass is deflected out of bounds. The Bolts, that's been their big problem here in the fourth quarter. They haven't taken very good care of the basketball.
I think that might be a little fatigue like we've been talking about.
Hunziker gets it into Boudreau. Boudreau slowly into the front court. Picked up by Bernie Inbody. Boudreau penetrates. Shot is up and it's short. They crash the boards and Hoffman comes up with it. And now I think fatigue is starting to set in a little bit for Pius. Their shots are consistently coming up short. There's a 3-point shot by Inbody. Counted. No, by Edey. Ryan Edey. They've got their 2 3-point bombers in there. 64-61. Oh, if this one gets away, I want to tell you, you're going to see a heartbroken bunch. Hunziker. Bounce pass inside. Bird almost lost it. Gets it back to Hunziker. Reverse layup won't go. He gets his own rebound. Puts it back and it's good. Hunziker missed and put his own shot back. 64-63. Wahoo by 1. 1:52 left to go. And now Edie almost loses it, and now the ball is loose on the court, and going back to pick it up is Nichols. Nichols driving is fouled by Edie. So I think, again, it was Hunsaker that kept that ball alive, and then Nichols, who's in for Easley, who's fouled out.
Hunsaker is just drained. He just went to his knees and took a breath, and I tell you, poor Hunsaker is just about to tank his hit knee for him.
Well, keep in mind that he's had to chase Troy Glock all over this place tonight. He had to chase Dubas the day before. Nichols free throws a rainbow, and it won't go. But, of course, he can tie it here. Jeff Nichols, who had to come in when Easley fouled out. Jeff in a real pressure cooker situation here. Second free throw, no good. Rebound, Wahoo. Here come the Warriors leading by 1. Boy, are they going to be a team of destiny or not. Glock tries to get it inside, deflected by Hunsaker. Hunsaker with those quick hands, even though his tank's on E, he's playing on heart right now. And it's amazing what a young athlete can do when his heart takes over. Boudreau kicks it out to Nichols. Pius down by 1. 1:15 left to go. Boy, I want to tell you, if you don't have goosebumps, you aren't a sports fan. Lobbed it down low. It's too long for Bird. It went out of bounds. Holy cow, Pius throws it away again. Still 1:08 remaining. Wahoo in the backcourt. And guess who's going to handle the basketball? Troy Glock. He's the guy that hit the three-pointer with 2 seconds left. Off it goes to Inbody, to Edie, down to 55 seconds.
They may just try to hold the ball here.
Well, they're going to try and get a foul, I would imagine. Glock dribbling out front. There aren't too many people that can foul him. Off it goes to, there's a steal. No, Nichols picks up the foul.
He made a good choice, though, because Nichols doesn't have many fouls. Plus, Jeff knew he had an opportunity to at least get the ball, so either he was going to get the ball or commit the foul. I think he made a good choice there.
43 seconds left to go. Wahoo 64, Pius 63.
Well, Wahoo has hit their free throws. Pius has not. 6 of 6 from the free throw line here in the fourth quarter for the Warriors, while Pius has missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've made some, but they've missed 7 free throws.
Pius calls timeout. The Wahoo fans are absolutely bananas down here. 43 seconds remaining in the first overtime. Wahoo 64, Pius 63. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Again, Wahoo having to hold their huddle out on the court because of the crowd noise behind them from the Pius student body. They have to bring their chairs out on the court so that they can be heard. As play resumes, 5'9" sophomore Bernie Imbody will be at the free throw line. As we say, they have got a tremendous group of sophomores. They could well be back here next year. 43 seconds left to go. What pressure on a young athlete. Let's see if he can respond. Bingo.
That's been the difference, free throws. I hope it's not going to spell the end, but
65-63. The second attempt is up, and it's good. Boy, I'll tell you, he didn't even hesitate. Of course, he's fairly fresh. Pius down by 3 with 40 seconds left to go. Here comes Boudreau. Will they go for the 3 this early or just go for points? Off to Hunsaker. Hunsaker to Hendrick. Back to Hunsaker. Down to 29 seconds. Boudreau. Boudreau has the ball knocked away. They keep it, but it takes time off the clock. Boudreau inside to Burt. Burt, 10-footer is up, and it won't go. They battle for the board, and it goes out of bounds. Touched by Pius with 16 seconds left to go.
Okay, now Tom Sykes says you got a foul. So their only hope about this time appears to be a foul and then hope they miss the free throw. Then they still got to hit a three-pointer. So not looking very good for the Bulls.
Holy cow, what a miracle finish this would be. We'll keep it right here. Mick Anderson calls timeout. I want to tell you, I'm still stunned by those last three-point shots in the final 10 seconds of the game. What happened was Edie hit a three-pointer from probably 25, 27 feet. And that brought them within 3. Then Pius proceeded to throw the ball in, tried to get it up the midcourt. It was picked off by Glock. Glock dribbled to the top of the key, well within three-point range. He cast it up. As the clock hit 2, the shot went up. It was 1. It was off the glass. It rolled around, and it went down as the final second ticked off the clock, and it tied it up at 61.
Well, look at this. John Boudreau comes out. Even with the situation, he comes out smiling. I mean, he has not let this game get to him. He realizes that the game is more important than the outcome.
I want to tell you, there's been a great display of sportsmanship between these two teams. Glock will inbounds. Let's see what they do here. They gets it into brother Jason. Back to Troy Glock, and Glock is fouled by Boudreau. That took 2 seconds. Of course, Troy Glock has been almost perfect at the free throw line. He is 7 out of 8.
Here, you talked about those three-pointers, Jim. There's been 4 three-pointers here in the fourth quarter. I guess one of them came in overtime, but that is a lot of them. And now you got to think back about 3 years ago. Pius would have won this with ease. Take those three-pointers out of this game.
Free throws up, and it's good. And so it looks like it may all be over. It looks like for the 3rd year in a row that Pius is going to come up short.
And it all boils down to the fact Wahoo hit the free throws and Pius did not. That's what it really boils down to. Because if Pius would have hit them all in the fourth, it would have been over.
It looks like it's over. They get it into Boudreau. 10 seconds. Boudreau spins, puts up the three. The three-pointer, and it's good. At the buzzer, it's good. Kelly Hendricks, that would have been great if it would have tied the game up or won it. But what it does is brings Pius back within 2 points. What a heartbreaker. I want to tell you, it's not just the fact that they finished second again, but they had this game in their sights the whole second half and come up short. Final, Wahoo 68, Pius 66. We'll be back to wrap it up from the Bob Devaney Sports Center in 60 seconds.
Jim, I don't know. In all these years, I've been close to a lot of players, a lot of teams, and I've really learned to like this Pius bunch. And, you know, I really tip my hat to Wahoo. They deserved the win. They played great. They were down 15. And you've got to just, but it's really hard not to feel really sorry for Pius just to come up a little short because they wanted it so bad. And yet, the sad thing that Tom Seib and I have talked about very much this year, and he even knew this possibility. I mean, he knew that there was a possibility it could happen again. And he said, I just hope people will realize there's nothing wrong with being second 3 times in a row. We tend to put too much emphasis on being number 1 all the time. And he says there should be something said for being able to do what they've done. But unfortunately, that's all that will be remembered.
Boy, I tell you, that old statement, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, is so cut and dried on the floor right now. The Pius kids just sitting very quietly, very gentlemanly, very sportsmanlike on the bench, but obviously terribly dejected. Terribly dejected. And the Wahoo fans realizing it was a miracle game. There are miracles in sports, and I want to tell you, we saw one here tonight. And the Wahoo fans and the players and the coaches all know it. If you went down and asked Mick Anderson right now, he said, probably we shouldn't have won this game, but somehow we did. And I want to tell you, I feel bad. These kids are a great bunch of kids, these Pius kids. And Tom Seib does a great job, and I respect him immensely for keeping the thing in perspective, and that's what's happened to sports. He's so long, it's gotten out of perspective, and it's people like Tom Seib that help keep it in perspective, but you really can't help feel bad for these kids. The 3rd year in a row they finished second.
That's like I told you, John Boudreau basically knew they were out of the game when he came out, and he was still smiling because he does not put winning above the game. And I think that's really important, as bad as they feel. And I think any Nebraska fan can relate to this. Think of the Huskers losing in the Orange Bowl to Miami that year, when one of the greatest teams of all time, and then lost. And that's about what it's like for Pius right now, that same feeling. So most people in this state should be able to relate to that.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm kind of speechless right now. you just look down at these kids and you know how hard they work. And they really had to play their guts out yesterday to beat Ord. And then they come out tonight, and they're sort of so-so in the first quarter. And they don't score in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. And all of a sudden, they call a timeout, and they hit the afterburners. And there's Johnny Boudreau smiling still. But it's got to hurt. I don't care if you've ever played sports, you know it hurts a little bit. Because when you work that hard, you want to finish first if you can, and to come so close 3 years in a row. It's the second year in a row they lose by 2. Last year it was 50-48, and tonight 68-66. You want to say anything in conclusion here, Steve?
Well, I can say it's been a fun season. We've been treated some good basketball. I'll say one thing. If you want to see a school that's really supported their teams and have done well, go to Pius High School. You're going to see 5 runner-up trophies, but you go to a lot of others, you'll never see any. But you feel sorry for the kids. I noticed most of the kids, when they got their runner-up medals, took them off right away because they feel bad. But I hope a year or so from now, they'll be able to look back and realize that they still did a great job. 68-66 in overtime. Wahoo wins it.
Tim Miller and Steve Roth bidding you all good night from the Bob Devaney Sports Center for KLIN Sports.
The Boys State Basketball Tournament on KLIN has been brought to you by Tracy's Auto Body, K&K Paint and Supply, First Tier Bank, Nebraska Bookstore, Capital City Christian Church, and Clock Tower Vacuum Centers. The Boys State Basketball Tournament is a feature of KLIN Sports.